Hey everyone, I am so excited and nervous because, well, this stuff is stuff that's been on my heart for a very long time. It's something that I've struggled with and something that is just learning this stuff for my relationships has just transformed everything for me, and it's transformed everything for my clients. And so I have an outline, I have kind of what I want to go over, but if you know anything about me, I usually just riff. I just really speak from the heart and just speak the message that is coming to me at the moment. And hey, Alia. And even though I wrote all of this from my outline from the heart, some other things might come up and I might just kind of not go off of it exactly. So, welcome. If you're here, I hope you know who I am. If you're on the replay, type in replay. But my name is Nicole Carlson, and I have struggled with relationships for so long. And you're going to hear some of my story. But I've reached a point where I've come through a lot of stuff, and I'm going to share all that with you. And I really want to share a bunch of key things that have been really important for me to learn, because through all my relationships, I kept asking, well, how do I get what I want? Why am I not getting what I want? Why am I not getting what I want? And it's been really, really frustrating for me. So I figured out, nobody has it all figured out, right? But I figured out why I wasn't getting what I wanted and how to start getting what I wanted and start calling in the next level love for myself, and how to start making decisions that I should have made a long time ago, but I just didn't know. I didn't know how to come to that conclusion, come to that decision. And I'm going to tag somebody on here because she said she would be on. Civet. Yeah. She said she wanted it. I just didn't know how to make it happen. And I was afraid, no, I'm riffing, but I was afraid that if I asked for what I wanted, that I wouldn't get it, and that I would lose what I already had. And I had it so good, but I didn't. And so I'm getting into like a bunch of stuff, but I want to help you start getting what you want now, totally change your perspective on where you are at right now so that you can make the right decision for you, and how you can stop having the same problem over and over again, because honestly, this same problem has crept up in my relationships over and over again. And even though I kept picking safer and safer guys, the problem still came up. And how to create the relationship you really want. So, who this is for? If you're me, it's for you if you're me, or if, which you're not, obviously. But if you have read any of my posts or watched my videos, and you know my story, and you see yourself in my stories, then it's for you, which probably is the reason why you're here. If you're single and you're avoiding a relationship because you're smarter than that, or you've learned your lesson, if you are in a relationship where it's not quite working out and you kind of don't know what to do, and you've tried everything and nothing's working and you're exhausted, it's for you. And if you are on the fence and you're thinking of leaving your relationship, but you're dragging your feet, which unfortunately I think we all know that feeling, it's for you. And if you just desperately want out, but you keep putting it off, this is for you. Basically, it's probably for you. I think most people fit into this, in these categories. And if you also realize that your relationship is taking a toll on your business and you keep putting off your business, or you keep overworking in your business and then it's draining your income, right? And no matter how much you work, you can't make more money, then there's an issue in your relationship. Because if you are unhappy at home, it's going to sabotage your business. It's going to keep you from making money. It's going to keep you from getting to that next level. So this is not for you if you just want to walk away. If you're just like, I'm not going to even try. I don't want to take a deeper look. I don't really care if this problem keeps coming up. I'm just going to just move on and deal with the problem, and you just don't think it's going to follow you, but it is, then it's probably not for you. And if you just don't really want to do the work, then this is not for you. So does this sound like you? Have you ever felt like you were married and alone? That is one of the big things that I've said over and over again. In my marriage, I was like, I'm married and alone. I just want to leave. And that was one of the things that I said for 4 years to make myself walk out the door finally. If you've ever said, I really don't ask for that much, and you're really not, and you're not getting that much. Yeah, that's one of the big things that I was saying a lot. And then if you've ever stayed in the relationship for way, way too long and you've just been miserable day in and day out. So if one of the big things that has come up for me in the past, well, since I got my divorce, is I've just been triggered by weddings, happy pictures of happy couples, and anything to do with new relationships. I've just been totally triggered by that. And even my friend got married last year, and she hesitated to invite me to her wedding because she knew that was a huge trigger for me. And I was like, oh no, I think I'm fine. I think I'm fine. I totally wasn't. I was like, holy shit, this is coming up for me still. I thought it's been 10 years since my divorce and it was still coming up for me. And I was just like, oh, I guess there's more work to be done. So if you've said any of those things, if this sounds like you, just know that the relationship is not the problem. These things are not the problem. There's nothing wrong with you. You just haven't learned how to make these 5 shifts that I will talk to you about. It's going to change everything for you. It's going to allow you to ask like a queen. Ask like a queen. Somebody said that to me the other day. I was like, that is so good. I'm stealing that. So these 5 shifts are going to allow you to start getting what you want today. Because relationships are, I think they're one of the hardest things to deal with because they're so emotional. They involve another person. And so a lot of times we don't feel as though we have control and that we have to take what we can get, which I thought for a very long time. And especially when I look back and I had 3 relationships with the same pattern and the same problem. And I thought, well, there's no way I can have something better than this. So we are going to talk about how you can start getting what you want today, even before you've figured out all your relationship stuff, how you can totally change your perspective on where you are right now, from being hopeless to actually having possibility and excitement for the future. We're going to talk about the mindset work that you need to do every single day so that you can show up and tackle whatever's going on in your relationship, because it is mindset work. It is mindset work that you have to do every single day, because it will drain your energy. It will tire you out. And if you don't have the mindset work, it's going to take a toll on you. And how you can stop having the same problem over and over again. So my promise to you is that you will learn how you can call in the next level love and start having the relationship that you want, having the things that you want today. Okay. So it took me a long time to learn these 5 shifts. Very long time, because most of the last 20 years, I just kept reliving this same pattern. And I got married in my 20s. I married a man that I didn't trust. And I thought that I had no other choice. I thought that this is what I could get, and I needed to learn how to forgive and move on. But he cheated on me when we were dating, and I never got past that. And what happened was, I was told that I wasn't allowed to talk about it, that, if I forgave him, that it was over and done with. But I had a lot of pain related to that I wasn't allowed to talk about, that I wasn't allowed to express. And so I pushed that down for a very, very long time. And then at the same time that he was cheating and we were dating, my dad was also leaving the relationship with my mom. So he was with another woman before he left. And then, so that there was 2 cheating events at the same time, both with my soon to be future husband, ex-husband, and with my dad. So I saw that this was something that I could either forgive and be in a relationship, or I could either decide that I was going to be single and do the same thing that my mom was doing, which I wasn't going to do. And so I just ended up marrying this guy. But we stayed together for 12 years. But after that, I got into I left. I got into another relationship, and I still had this problem of not getting what I wanted, not feeling loved, not feeling important, and just feeling married and alone, even though I was just dating and these guys didn't cheat on me. I still had that same problem that was creeping up again and again. And it was just this feeling of, this is what I have to do. This is what I have to deal with, because this guy is faithful. This guy is so much better. This guy is treating me well, except for he was neglecting me. And so it wasn't until a year and a half ago, end of 2017, where I finally started learning this stuff, taking it to heart, and realizing that I could start getting what I wanted. And it was a lot of work. So my ex-boyfriend and I broke up, and then we decided to go to marriage counseling, couples counseling for 7 months after we broke up, because if you don't fix the problem, it's going to follow you. And he cared about me and cared about the problem and wanted to make sure that it was gone. So we went to counseling for 7 months. We decided that we weren't a match, and he also he had a job offer in Germany and left. So there was a split. And then I did a lot of work over the past, I don't know, almost a year now on myself and on relationships, dealing around this healing from my what happened with my parents, what happened with my ex-husband, all those things. And so it's really been how I've learned these 5 shifts. Okay, so the 5 shifts are and I did it after the Disney Disney characters. So the first one is the poison apple. So if you like Disney, just throw an emoji. But I wanted to give you something where you could really remember these things, right? Because it's easy to forget when this is such an emotional topic. Okay, so the poison apple is to find the pain point or the pattern, which may or may not be obvious to you, but there was a lot of depth in what I learned about myself. So the second shift is Alice in Wonderland. You can create, yeah, me too. You can create your world, right? Alice in Wonderland is my favorite. The third one is Cinderella. Nobody's gonna come and save you. The fourth one is Aladdin, how to forgive yourself. And the fifth one is Rapunzel, setting boundaries, how to get what you want. And maybe these kind of don't make sense, but they made sense to me. And the boundaries, because she's in a tower, even though that's probably not what she wanted, but we're just going to go with it. Okay, so the poison apple, to find the pain point and pattern. So for me, I looked back and there's a lot of things that I didn't know about my parents that that my dad cheated on my mom when I was little, and my mom kept staying with him because of the family, and she wanted to, be a good wife and a good mother, and so she kept trying to make it work. So what happened was I kept doing this pattern in my adulthood, and I think a lot of times, I know she had good intentions, but a lot of times we keep trying to do the right thing for our family and for the other person. And what we're not doing is we're not looking at what we need to do for ourselves, right? And so she thought she was setting a good example. She thought she was doing the right thing for my brother and I. And, maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. But that is a pattern that I didn't want in my life. And that was a choice that I needed to make. Now, you may or may not see the pattern in your, with your parents or in your life. There was a lot of depth to that pattern that I had to discover. And it's not just about seeing the pattern. It's about going deep and seeing what that means in your life and how you are showing up, because it wasn't, if you just jumped on, say hi. It wasn't just the pattern that she stayed with a man that, that was cheating on her. It wasn't just that pattern. It was a deeper pattern where she was actually neglecting herself. And this is what happened, especially in my marriage, where I chose to neglect the fact that I was hurting and not to take care of myself. Hey, Phil. So yes, you may see your pattern, but you also may not connect the dots. One of the key things with the story with my parents is when my dad finally left for that last time, and where she said she was done. not too long after that, my mom got cancer, well, bankruptcy. So there's money tied in there. And then she got cancer and passed away. Now, for me, what I didn't realize with that pattern or with that story is that somewhere deep inside of me, I related being left to dying. And so maybe you see this, maybe you don't. Oh, what is up with Facebook? Maybe you see the pattern, maybe you don't. But over the past year, I have really dug into that pattern and realized a lot more than what I'm able to share on this Facebook Live. There's so much more to it, so many more connections that are in it's not in our genes, it's in our neurology. What's right, how to be a good mom, how to be a good wife, how to be a good person. What does that mean? Does that mean that you're neglecting yourself and that you're being quiet and not saying what you need? And how is that affecting your self-worth? So there's so many things. So that is the poison apple. Snow White. So the second shift that you need to make is to realize that is Alice in Wonderland. You can create your world. We give away our power over and over again. We think that we don't have a choice. This is just the type of man we attract, which is true, but it's also not true. We are also choosing to accept that person into our life. We are actually choosing that we are going to keep living out the same pattern. And that actually triggers me saying that, because it makes me responsible for hurting a lot of people. Obviously, I did the best I could at the time, but it also makes me responsible for the relationships that I left, right? So kind of don't want to say that, but it is true. I should have, and I hate saying this too, because I believe that I did not make any mistakes. Every choice that I made was the right choice for me, and that it led me to this point. So I fully trust that, but I also know that I could have made the right choice for me as a person and taking care of myself, and as far as loving myself. Does that make sense? There's a distinction there. There's like, obviously it happened for a reason. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to help you guys. But there was a right thing to do, and I didn't know that at the time, right? So I took responsibility with my last relationship. After we broke up, we went to counseling for 7 months because I was going to do whatever it took to not have this pattern come up again. I was done. It's like, okay, this is going to stop. I'm not going to do this anymore. And from that point, and I haven't gotten into my next relationship. I'm smiling because I went on a date last night, but I haven't gotten into my next relationship. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm done with that pattern. I am done with that pattern because I will not allow that back into my life, right? I saw a post yesterday, and it had a picture of a guy's six-pack abs, and it said, never date a person with six-pack abs, because if they have the willpower to walk away from sweets and donuts and ice cream. They have the willpower to walk away from you. And I just thought that was really funny. It's like, that's so good. I'm going to post that later. But you have the choice to create your own world. And so whatever you have in your life, you created. So whether you like it or not, some part of you finds comfort in where you are and what's been going on because it's familiar. So you actually created that stuff. Some of it by allowing yourself to do these things. And know that when I say that, you know that you are a good person. I'm sure, I know you guys are good people. And that you did the very best you could at the time. And you were doing what you thought was the best thing. So have some grace with yourself, but you also have to take responsibility to change your future. So yes, I allowed this into my life. I can change my life. I can create what I want. Alice in Wonderland, shift number 2. Okay. So shift number 3 is, Phil, we're doing Disney characters for the shifts so that you guys can remember. Shift number 3 is Cinderella. Nobody's going to come and save you. At least not after midnight, right? And this is with all areas of life. You have to get yourself up and do the work. You have to get yourself up and get out of whatever situation you're in if you don't like it, and create the situation you want, right? You have to get yourself up. I'll go back and watch. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm going to be doing this again, I think. This one's pretty good, actually. I'll just have it on replay. As long as I'm not Dumbo. You're not. So I'm going to tell you a little story about, and I'm not using any of my clients on this because of their business, their relationship stuff that they're going through. I don't really want to disclose that. So I'm using my own story. I think that's pretty powerful. And I'm also going to talk about my grams. Please don't share this with my family, my dad or my grams. So my grandmother is champion. She is super strong and just a warrior. And she has outlived my grandfather. It's weird saying that because I didn't grow up around them, so I didn't really know him. But he passed away from cancer. And then she had 3 daughters, and her oldest daughter passed away from cancer, and she was there to take care of her. And then my mom passed away from cancer. And you should not outlive your children. So she's already gone through 3. And then her second husband, she's only had 2, passed away from old age and complications. I don't know. So she's outlived 2 daughters, 2 husbands, and then recently in November, she's from Paradise, California. Her entire community burned down. Her house, her car, all the pictures, nothing was digital, obviously. She's 86. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because not to think that you have it good and you shouldn't want more, because you absolutely should want more. You should, no matter how good you have it, you should always want more. But to know that you have the power to recreate your life, to pick up and do what you need to do, and that nobody's going to come and save you. It's up to you to get yourself up. It's up to you to decide that you're going to move on. And my Grams, she was like, well, I just got to keep going. And you just think, I thought, damn, how much does one person have to go through? Like, that is a lot. And I know that we struggle daily with self-worth issues in our relationships and our business, and it can be pretty emotional. And I'm not saying like one person's problem is bigger than the other, because it's all tied to emotion. You can have someone else can have a bigger problem, but be able to handle it emotionally. So it's really about you being able to show up emotionally and being able to say, yes, I'm going to save myself. I'm going to take the action that I need to take to move forward in my life. And that's what I did with, going to counseling for 7 months, and then doing all the work that I've done in the past year and a half. And that's what my grandmother has done. And that's what we all need to do, because every single day is a decision. Are you going to get up and do what you need to do? Because nobody's going to come and save you. I have friends that from Paradise, yeah, she had 2 of her friends passed away and her boyfriend dumped her. Obviously an asshole. She should have, I thought he was slowing her down the whole time. So I think obviously she's better off. So number 4 has been really difficult for me. It's Aladdin. And the shift is to forgive yourself. I don't actually know why you called it that. Maybe because that's what we need. It's like, that is magical. That's our wish for ourselves, is to be forgiven, right? And it has taken me so long to realize that I needed to forgive myself, because I always had this thought that I did the best I could at the time. I have that belief. And then I also have this belief that everything that I did, every choice that I made was the right choice, because I trust myself and it led me to this point. But then looking back, and honestly, this happened over the last 2 weeks, I realized there was things that I was not forgiving myself for, because I allowed myself into this relationship with somebody that I didn't trust. And that was a big key for me, that I had to forgive myself for that. And when I discovered that, I discovered ways that I could heal around that and ways that I could move forward with that. But it was really difficult. It was really difficult to be aware that I needed to forgive myself and to actually do the work to forgive myself. And then number 5 is really how to start getting what you want. And it is Rapunzel, and it is about the boundaries, the wall around her. And there's 2 things here. One, we want to create boundaries, but we really don't want a wall. We don't want a wall around our heart. We want to create boundaries where we are deciding what we are going to allow into our life and truly allow it. So many times we are creating a wall around our heart, protecting ourselves, so that when we get out of this one hurtful relationship, whether it's, obviously we're talking about relationships here, but whether it's a relationship or a friendship or a business partner where we've been hurt, we go into the next relationship with this wall and this protection around us. But when we do that, then we create a fake relationship where we're not able to really be in that relationship. And it actually ends up hurting us. So what we need to do is create boundaries instead of walls, where we say, no, this is not acceptable in my life, and let it go. And this is really hard because a lot of times we think we need all the friends we can get. Why are we being mean? We feel like bad people because we're saying, no, that's not acceptable. And it's not that we're not accepting the person. It's that we are not accepting that a real friend would not do that. We don't want to be with a person that treats us that way. And saying no to that behavior and saying yes to the person and saying, I love you, but this is my boundary. And I've had to look at my life and say, I'm actually cutting people out in a way that I still love the person, but it's not okay that they're in my life and they're treating me this way. And so I have no hard feelings for them, but they are not going to be considered a friend, or maybe even like I've cut people out totally. And that's been really difficult because you feel like a bad person. You feel like something's wrong with you, and you feel like you're not accepting the other person. But that's not really what it's about. What it's about is, if you want what you want, then you have to accept only what you want. And what I mean by that is, my mom told me when I was a teenager, she said, don't be with the wrong man when the right man comes along. And I didn't really get that on a spiritual level. I don't even know if that's the right wording, but on a deeper level until this year when I realized, oh, well, if I want this type of client, then I can't accept this kind of client. And if I want this kind of guy in my life, then I can't accept this kind of guy in my life. If I want these kind of friends in my life, then I can't accept these kind of friends. And it's not a bad thing. It's not like you are being mean. Am I explaining? Is this making sense? Because you're not going to hang out with people that take drugs or go out drinking every night, or maybe not alcoholics unless you're coaching them. You're not going to hang out with these people, right? You're not going to hang out with somebody that's abusive, or, who you're definitely not going to hang out with. But there's people who are maybe their behavior is not that bad, right? They're good people. They're good people, but they're not that bad. Okay, cool. And so you're allowing these people that aren't that bad into your life. Hey, Savette. And not setting a boundary. And when you do that, you are saying to your subconscious that that's okay, and that's what you deserve. It's the same as allowing clients that treat you like shit into your business, and allowing somebody to, this is why people have a lot of business problems. I'm so getting off topic, because they're allowing clients that ghost them, clients that don't respect them, clients that don't pay their invoices. And it really starts showing up. It starts in your relationship or your personal life, and it shows up in your business, right? And so if you're allowing somebody in your life, if you're allowing your partner to treat you in a certain way, then what else are you allowing in your life? How is that showing up in your life? And this is why we start to sabotage our business, because we're allowing this thing that is not a yes for us. And then we're allowing, oh, well, you know, I can just do this over here in my business, and it carries over. We cannot have if we're accepting things that we don't want in our personal life, we're accepting things that we don't want in our business. And if we're accepting things that we don't want in our business, we're going to be accepting things we don't want in our personal life. So it's about setting boundaries, not creating walls, but setting boundaries about what's acceptable and what's not. And this kind of comes to my mind and I learned this when I was traveling a lot, but I would have guys that would say really, maybe not that inappropriate things, but I was just like, I don't really want this kind of attention. And so I would just look at them and say, that is inappropriate. And that they would just jump back and be like, oh, okay. And then they pretty much didn't mess with me after that. But are we saying that in our life? Are we saying that with our partners? Like setting that precedent up front, like that is inappropriate. Are we setting that precedent in there? And then in our business as well. So, way off topic. Okay. So the 5 shifts are the poison apple, finding this pattern, being aware of it, going deeper with that. Alice in Wonderland, you can create your world. I love Alice in Wonderland. Cinderella, nobody's going to come and save you. Aladdin, forgive yourself. And Rapunzel, set boundaries. So I had some more people that were going to be on here. So I want to invite you, because I'm going to have a 6-week course on relationships, and it's not really just relationships, honestly. Okay. So it's really about the relationship you have, figuring out how to start getting what you want, whether you're in a relationship right now or you're single, because a lot of this work I did with my ex-boyfriend. And then a lot of this work I did after he left as a single woman. And it's so, so powerful. And I am going to just do what I've done pretty much in this and like all my courses, but really speak from the heart. Because I know that if you are going to start getting what you want, that these are the 5 shifts that you need to make, but there's so much more. There's so much depth that we need to get into. So I want to start this on February 14th, on Thursday. So there's so much. Okay, so I know that some of you are in relationships. I know that some of you are single. This is going to be for both of you, or all of you, everybody, because everything that I've learned through all these stories is what I'm going to be teaching you. And especially I've learned it sounds crazy, but I've learned a ton in the last 2 weeks, and I want to share that stuff with you. I want to share, I just have all these things coming up. I want to share how to start really getting what you want now, because that was a huge pain point for me. How to make sure that you can get what you want in the next relationship, how to make sure you are healed, how to make sure you're not in pain, how to make sure that you are healing from the past. I mean, the past is the past and you can't do anything about it, but you totally can. And I'm going to cover all of that. So if you guys have questions on that, post them or PM me. But this is going to be 6 weeks. It's going to be 6 modules at least. I always over deliver. But I'm going to come in here, do live. Well, not here, but I'm going to create a new group. I'm going to do 6 lives and then 6 Q&As, probably some bonus stuff. But really what I want is to go really deep with you. It's going to be a very small group and it's going to be very intimate. And I know that if you're on here or watching the replay, that you are all going through similar situations. So this is really going to help you wherever you are. It's going to help you connect to yourself. It's going to help you start getting what you want. I don't know if this is obvious, but it's also going to help you start getting what you want in your business. So yeah, it's about calling in what you want in the next level relationship, right? The next level love. But that's going to carry over to your health, to your business, to all the things, and really ground you so that you can start getting whatever you want in every area. Like, sounds crazy, but it's true, right? Because I've given you examples where if you're saying this is okay, then you're allowing other things over here. So message me, let me know if you have questions, let me know if you're in. If I do offer private coaching if you want that, but this is really where it's at. This is what I'm doing. It is going to be $600. And if you need a payment plan, let me know. But it's going to be 6 weeks. It's going to be so good. And I promise to over deliver. And I know for sure all of you that are on here need it. And it's going to be amazing. So that is it for today. And I will see you guys on the next Facebook Live.